Welcome back, everybody, to Deck Doctors EDH. I'm Dr. Pete, joined by no one. Today I've got a really fun deck tech. I'm going to be covering Aradesh the Founder, criminally underplayed at only 43 decks on EDH Rec. Now, this deck is actually the impetus for me creating this channel. It seemed like a really interesting commander to build around, and I thought I had an opportunity to make it really powerful. So that's what we're going to try and do here today. Aradesh the Founder is 2 and a white for a 1/4 legendary creature human soldier with enlist. Enlist reads, as this creature attacks, you may tap a non-attacking creature you control without summoning sickness. When you do, add its power to this creature's until end of turn. Aradesh's second ability says whenever a creature you control attacks, if it enlisted a creature this combat, the creature that attacked gains double strike until end of turn. If that creature's power is 4 or greater, draw a card. That's what I want to be building around, is getting the creature's power up to 4 or higher so that we can draw cards. We're in mono white, card draw is a premium, and your commander says card draw, which is what I think makes it a really good creature to build around. One of the things that we want to focus on this deck is undercosted creatures with high powers. The first card that came to mind when I was thinking about this deck was Lupine Prototype, a 2-drop artifact creature with power and toughness 5/5. It says Lupine Prototype can't attack or block unless a player has no cards in hand. That's not something we care about. We're just going to be enlisting Lupine Prototype, making our commander or another enlist creature really big, and hitting for a lot of damage and drawing a card. Other creatures we're going to be looking at is Adeline Resplendent Cathar. It's just going to get bigger as we get more creatures, and when she attacks, she's going to bring creatures along with her. Regal Bunnicorn, which is a star for 1 and a white, and its power and toughness is equal to the number of non-land permanents you control. We're going to have a lot of non-land permanents on the battlefield, so Regal Bunnicorn is going to get very big. So when we enlist Regal Bunnicorn, our commander or another enlist creature is going to get equally big. We want to run cards like Relic Golem, 3-drop for a 6/6 with a text box that we just don't care about because we're going to be enlisting it. A few other quick mentions that we'll throw up on screen are Scuttling Butler, Stoic Ephemera, and Training Drone. Again, all undercosted creatures with high power that we just don't care about their text box because we're going to be using them to enlist creatures. Brr. Keep that in, please. Don't keep that in. He's going to keep it in, isn't he? Yeah. Currently, there are only 4 other creatures in Magic that are in mono white that have enlist. We're going to be running all 4 of those. They are Argivian Cavalier, Banalish Faithbonder, Coalition Sky Knight, and Guardian of New Benalia. This is just going to give us other opportunities to get those card draw triggers from Aradesh, as well as making them big creatures with double strike. One of the sub-themes that we're going to be focusing on is anthems. We want to make our creatures bigger, because not only are the creatures we enlist going to be bigger, the creatures that enlist them are going to be bigger. So it's almost like a double anthem. Particular ones that I want to point out are Banalish Marshal, Intrepid Adversary, Heraldic Banner, Flowering of the White Tree, and Marshal's Anthem. All of these are going to work very well in our deck and give us a lot of power on the board. Our next sub-theme is Exalted. Exalted is a mechanic that says whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Most of the time we're going to be attacking with Aradesh alone because it's the only creature that we know we're going to have access to that has enlist. If we manage to get another creature out that has enlist, we can pick and choose how we want to attack if we've got Exalted cards on the battlefield as well. First one I want to look at is Sublime Archangel, a 4/3 for 4 mana with flying and Exalted. It also says other creatures you control have Exalted. We're running 40 creatures in the deck, so we're going to have access to a lot of different creatures, and for each one that has Exalted, you're going to get an Exalted trigger on a single attacking creature. So if you attack with Aradesh and you have 5 creatures on the board, you are going to get 5 instances of Exalted. You're going to get +5/+5 on Aradesh. Another one I want to look at is Battle Grace Angel. 4/4 flying for 5 mana with Exalted. And whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains lifelink until end of turn. There are a few more Exalted cards in the deck. The last one I want to look at, though, is Cathedral of War, which is a land that enters the battlefield tapped and has Exalted, and it taps for 1 colorless mana. We're in white, and we're focused on creatures, so what we're going to want to do is protect those creatures. The first way we're going to do that is with Reconnaissance, which is an enchantment for 1 white. This has pay 0 to remove target attacking creature you control from combat and untap it. Now, this is an older card that has gotten a reprint, so the wording on the new card is a little bit clearer. But for those of you that don't know, you can target an attacking creature after combat damage has been dealt to untap it, effectively giving all of your creatures vigilance. So you'll be able to attack without fear of being blocked or not being able to get through. No matter what happens, your creature is going to be safe. If they block it with a creature that's going to kill it, you can just remove it from combat. If they block it with a creature that's going to die, you can allow that combat damage to happen first, and then if you need to, you can remove it after that damage is done. We want to run cards like Bastion Protector, which is going to give our commander +2/+2 and indestructible. Also noteworthy is that Bastion Protector is a 3-power creature. So if you enlist Bastion Protector, you're going to reach that 4-power threshold that Aradesh needs to draw a card. And that's going to be another focus of our deck, is getting a lot of creatures that have 3 or more power that have other roles within the deck. A similar creature like that is Boromir, Warden of the Tower. 3 mana for a 3/3 with Vigilance. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. And then you can sacrifice Boromir, Warden of the Tower. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn, and the ring tempts you. Next we have Vexilus Praetor. 4 mana for a 3/4 with Flash and Vigilance. And commanders you control have protection from everything. So nothing will be able to target your commander, nothing will be able to block your commander. You'll have free swings all day long. Last card I want to focus on is Silver Shroud Costume. 2 mana for an artifact equipment with Flash. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. That creature gains Shroud until end of turn. And it also has equipped creatures can't be blocked. Some other protection cards that we're going to want to run is Giver of Runes and Mother of Runes, Flawless Maneuver, Teferi's Protection, Lightning Greaves, and Swiftfoot Boots. The Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots actually do double duty within this deck because they give our creatures haste. That means that the turn that they come into play, and if you attach it, you'll be able to enlist that creature. On a similar note, we're also running Crashing Drawbridge, which when you tap it, gives all your creatures haste. For our removal package, we're running cards like Generous Gift, Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile, and Get Lost, but we're also running a few creatures. We're running Cathar Commando, which is a 2 mana creature with power 3 that has Flash, and pay 1 to sack it and destroy target artifact or enchantment. We're also running Westfold Rider, which is a very similar Cathar Commando, but has no mana cost to activate, but can only be activated at sorcery speed. We're running 1 board wipe in the deck. We're running Winds of Abandon, which is going to exile all creatures you don't control if you overload it. The controller of those creatures will be able to go get basic lands and put them onto the battlefield, but small price to pay to clear the board for your board to get through. For our ramp package, we're running cards like Claim Jumper and Keeper of the Accord. They're your typical white catch-up cards, but they also have power of 3, so they're going to help you with your enlist ability on your commander. We're also running Oketra's Monument, which is going to make your white creatures cost 1 less to cast. It also has, whenever you cast a creature spell, you get to make a 1/1 white warrior creature token with Vigilance, which is going to help you with chump blocks. A few other ramp cards that we'll be running are cards like Mind Stone, Pearl Medallion, Soul Ring, obviously, and Smothering Tithe. For card draw, we're running a few creatures. Esper Sentinel is one of them, which Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, you draw a card unless they pay X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. Esper Sentinel starts with 1 power, but if you get out enough anthems, it's going to get a lot bigger and make it very hard for your opponents to pay that cost, so you'll be drawing cards from that. 2 other ones that we're running are Firemain Commando and Zenith Chronicler. Notably, they have power 3 or greater. And then we're running 2 lands that are going to help us draw cards. We're running Minas Tirith and War Room. Minas Tirith is good because we're going to be attacking a lot, so we're going to be able to activate it whenever we really need that card draw. So how are we winning in this deck? We're winning through overwhelming power on the board and commander damage. We're going to want to try and get in with our commander as much as possible to take out our opponents. And if that doesn't work, then we're going to overwhelm them with board presence. We are running 40 creatures, so we're going to have a very full board. Well, that's been my deck tech. We're going to get into cracking packs now. We've got 2 booster packs of Bloomborough Play Boosters here. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for a chance to win the cards in these packs. Our first pack, we have Intrepid Rabbit, Might of the Meek, Thornplate Intimidator, Baker's Bane Duo, Shore Up, Warren Elder, Light Shell Duo, Heaped Harvest, Spellgyre, Repel Calamity, Gossip's Talent. Our rare is Starfall Invocation. We have a full art mountain. And then we hit a big one. A foil Maha, its Feathers Knight. And a snail token. Well, everyone, I know you want that snail token, so comment, like, and subscribe. And our second pack. First card, Take Out the Trash. Ravine Raider. Longstalk Brawl. Finch Formation. Crumb and Get It. Uncharted Haven. Head of the Homestead. Night Fisher. Brambleguard Captain. Starseer Mentor. Honored Dray Leader. Our rare is Byway Barterer. A full art mountain. And a foil Dire Down Draft. And an art card. Again, comment, like, and subscribe for a chance to win these cards. Well, that does it for us today, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Deck Doctors EDH. I'm Dr. Pete. We'll see you on the next one.